Hey guys, this is Chauncey from Good Music to Know, and today's guests are new Constellations, a duo who spent years building a sound across synthwave, dream pop warmth, and extensive production. And now that progression has come together for their debut album, It Comes in Waves, an album that beautifully highlights the ebbs and flows of life, relationships, uncertainty, and growth. And we're stoked to have them here today. So welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, so I know you spent the past few years releasing like standout singles, and now your debut is here, so Come in Waves. What changes creatively when you have to like move from building like standalone songs to shaping a full emotional world across an album?
The shaping of the album kind of happened pretty organically. A lot of these songs, some of the songs we've been playing live for a couple years now, and some of the songs we sort of wrote for the album. But it wasn't, I feel like for me personally, until we really started like sequencing the album that we kind of realized that everything was kind of unfolding as this like cohesive, almost narrative, not necessarily narrative, but like thread of consistency. So
Yeah.
we didn't necessarily write the album with the intention of it being as cohesive as it sort of ended up being. Kind of just comes by nature of the fact that we wrote these songs about our lives. And so there is going to be a common thread throughout all of them, which is us.
It came really, really naturally. We sat down and we were like, okay, we know we want to start here. We know we want to make this intro track, and we also know we want to end here. We've had this one song that we've been playing for 5 years that has never been put out, but we end all of our sets with it. And so it was kind of cool because we were like, we want to start at this like hopeful place and end at this hopeful place, and kind of in the middle. Yeah, it's kind of the same as like building out a set, It's like, where do we want to leave them? Where do we want to start off? And like, how deep do we want to go in the middle? But yeah, it was super cool because we had a handful written, and then we were like, okay, here are the gaps and here are the places that we want to take them to that we didn't necessarily have songs written for yet.
It felt to me less like us putting them in order and more like us finding out what order they should go in. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, yeah.
And I think Harlee and I, as like music lovers too, half of the time we're making decisions because this is what we think should happen, and half the times we're making decisions because intuitively it's what feels like should happen.
Yeah, I think it's better when it's not over constructed or over thought out. I think that's when it starts to sound a little disingenuous, which you definitely don't get a feeling of. So that's good.
If we want to like have a tough time writing a song, all we have to do is try to decide what we're going to write a song about, and then it's the hardest session.
Yeah, I think we really do what we want to do and don't lean into what we should, because like a lot of our songs, which we kind of like found as like our signature move on this album, is like adding like a second and a third mini song at the end of songs. We're like, the song should maybe end here, but when we're freestyling, this cool other thing came up at the end, so let's like tack that on. So yeah.
Amazing. And so I love the song or the track I Disappear. What I like about it, and you do this on a couple of tracks, but like musically it feels like euphoric and dreamy, even though the lyrics are rooted in like anxiety and self-doubt. So what pulls you towards that contrast between like emotional heaviness with this like uplifting production?
I think, my job as a producer often is to sort of get the ball rolling
Yeah.
and then get out of the way.
Yeah.
So a lot of it we'll start one way and we just start vibing with one another and then kind of building on top of each other. And a lot of our songs like deal, with like tough emotions and sadness and things. But, we like to say that we don't settle for sadness. We will write a sad song, but it never ends with, and that's it. And it sucks. And like that. So
Yeah.
some of the music can kind of help lend to the fact that it's like, this sadness is not the only thing that exists in the world or the only thing that will ever exist in the world. So we're trying to show some light at the end of the tunnel.
And I really love the like dancing through the pain kind of idea, and like probably like 80% of the time I'm gonna lean a little bit sadder than happier, and like if you look at everything that didn't make it on the album. And so it's pretty easy, like even if it is like an upbeat, like dreamy track, I'm probably gonna dip into. And like I feel like that's also just the kind of writer that I am, is that we're gonna talk about the positives and the negatives. And so it's like, when do I get cut off on the freestyling? So, you know what I mean? Like, what parts are we putting in and taking out? Like,
Yeah. And then another one that I like is Hot Blooded, which that one's been out for a while, I think. And beneath that, like, again, beneath that beautiful synth pop energy is a song about like emotional mismatch. And I read online already a bit about like what you said about the song. So for you, was that song about trying to understand someone's limitations or recognizing a pattern in yourself of like reaching for people that can't give you what you need?
a little bit of both. At that point, you know, I was dating someone that I knew that it couldn't, but I still am and always kind of am in this pattern of just like, but what if, how can I calculate this? Like, is there a way I'm gonna like take this to the very end of it? But I think at that time I didn't realize how prevalent the pattern was, you know?
Yeah. It's one of those things where when you step back, you can fully recognize what's happening, but not necessarily when you're in the moment of it. Yeah.
We literally listened to this first songs that I wrote and like sent him that was like 9 years ago. And some of these are voice recordings from like the 5 years before that. So like literally we'll listen back and be like, this is exactly what this song is about now. I'm like, like these themes are kind of like always around.
And then I think one of the biggest breakout songs is like Dandelion. I even sent it to my mom and she was like grooving to that track. She like loves it. And I'm curious about the track name. Is Dandelion like a symbol of something to you? Is Dandelion like a nickname, a person's name, a memory?
No, that just like came out when I was like freestyling and Josh was like, oh, that's fun. And like then as I was like finalizing lyrics, it made sense to me as like something you make a wish on. So it's still it's like kind of this hopeful symbol in a way.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was that because as kids, you know how you build the dandelions.
Exactly.
I hope I'm not like being too deep because sometimes you ask artists about track names and they're like, no clue. That's good. Same page.
Think about it as it first came up, but then I feel like it really stuck with me because of that, you know?
And I like how open and honest you are about a lot of the topics on this album. So like, as I mentioned earlier, there's like heartbreak, distance, spiraling. I know there was a song about like growing apart from like your friends or having to move on. So did writing this album help you work through some of your own emotional weight, or did some of these songs only fully make sense after they were already written?
I mean, both, 100%. There have been times, oh my gosh, like I honestly think it was the day that I'm waiting now is written. I could be wrong, but it was in this bubble where I was really going through it like 3 years ago. And like Josh had broken his like rib and he like still came over to my house to do our writing session because he was like, I knew that like you needed therapy today. And so like he's like there and I'm like weeping, but like something really beautiful came out of like him showing up for me that day. And there are songs like Edge of the World where like I wanted to kind of put a bow on some of those like relationship topics I was touching on because there's so much that had went on with me and that I put into this album that I felt like I needed to write something for them to be like, it's okay, I'm sorry. Like I know I'm saying a lot of this stuff, but like I love you and we're okay. And like the universe would not let that song be written. It was so insane. Like we sat down like 4 times and that just doesn't happen with us where we sit down and nothing comes. And then we sat down and we're like, okay, just whatever's supposed to come. And Edge of the World came and that came out like after we left that day. I was like, oh my gosh, what an incredible gift for the universe for us to write this song about like changing the ways that we used to be and stepping into this like new version of ourselves and like receiving the like gifts and blessings that we like deserve. Yeah, so I feel like it's both.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's say if someone had never heard of New Constellations before it comes in waves, what would be like their first intro song that you would recommend for them and why?
I might send Dandelion, I think.
Yeah, I mean, before the album came out, I think the obvious answer would have been Hot Blooded. But it's kind of funny to like think of the idea that like if you're just hearing our album for the first time, or we have more of a catalog now, like the idea of someone like discovering Hot Blooded later and liking it
Totally.
versus it being like the impetus of them finding out about our band.
I'm excited about that now because I feel like Hot Blooded, it does fit into this album really well. But like when people would compare us to Cannons all the time, it would be like, Hot Blooded is really, like, the only song I feel that is, like, a Cannons adjacent song. Like, you know? And so, like, that was not, like, the way the band was supposed to sound in its entirety.
Yeah, I really like I Disappear. I feel like I'd show someone I Disappear. And then maybe that's just me being like, here's a tough song for my
It's one of the tough ones,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And a bit of a cliche question, but is there a favorite song that you guys love to play live from the album so far?
For me, that answer would be I Disappear again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have so much fun playing I Disappear. It's fun to sing because I get to go into these really high places, but it's not like it like wears me out. Like we will every once in a while play I'm Waiting Now, which I love to express my emotions, you know? So it's like, even though it's hard, it's like it's cathartic, but it wears my voice out so much that it's like it can only be ever so often. So it's like a little treat for us.
Yeah. And what do you guys have on the agenda for the rest of 2026? I know you guys are doing festivals like crazy. What else do you love?
We just got to announce Corona Capital yesterday, which we've been like dying to get down to our Mexico fans. Mexico City's our #1 fan base. And so
Really?
so excited. Yeah. And we were like planning a tour to Mexico at the beginning of this year. And then we got Corona Capital and it was like the radius clauses are so big. So it's been a long overdue for us to get down there.
Touring Europe, which we're really excited about. And then we have our headline like album tour in the fall. And I feel like we're really, really excited to focus on like building out our live show for that.
Yeah.
Like bringing some new band members, you know, bringing some lives, kind of pumping up the live show.
Are you guys coming to Berlin at all?
Yeah.
When will you guys be here?
September 14th.
September 14th. Okay, perfect.
September
We
14th.
add that to the calendar. That's going to be super exciting.
Oh, we're very excited.
Yeah, it's a good crowd in Berlin, so it'll be very well received when you guys are here. So that's exciting. Yeah. And I was just telling another artist that like I think a lot of people have this perception that Berlin is like only the whole like you know, like techno Berghain scene, but they have a massive indie pop folk scene here as well. I mean, like Parcels live here, a bunch of other artists live here. So it's like it's a little mini, I don't know if Mecca's the right word, but a little mini Mecca maybe for like that type of music. So, and the audiences like really appreciate it when they're there. Like that you hardly see phones out. People are like really into the music. So
Okay, that's exciting.
experience. Yeah. But yeah, I think those are the main questions that I had for you both. But are there any final words that you would like to leave your fans and the listeners with?
We're just like from the bottom of our hearts grateful for every person that would ever listen to a song we made. It's just the coolest thing, and this has been a big year for us. And I think, you know, we often look at each other and just go like, what the fuck, like what a cool life to have. And we only get to do that because anybody would listen to a song or buy a ticket at all. So we're just grateful.
Yeah, we hope to see people at the shows this year. It won't be disappointed.